We got a great show lined up for you tonight. We will break down what happened in week 2, and then we'll give you a preview of what happened, or what we think. Oh my gosh! I'm doing horrible.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right, we got this. We got this. So much for 3 taking it.
4th take.
Take 4.
You know what else there's 4 of? Chambers in my heart for you.
I got chills.
All right.
Hello and welcome to Livin, Liga, Loca.
Your first and only news source for La Primera Liga Bautista Hispana.
I'm Kurt.
And I'm Joshua.
We've got a great show lined up for you this week. We're going to break down what happened in week 2, and we're going to give you a preview into what we see happening in week 3.
But first, we're going to be having an interview with someone who's currently 2-0 in the league, and one of the highest ranking in score. It's a little hard for me to tell who is scoring the highest at the moment, but I'm pretty excited about talking to this guy today.
All right, we'll pass it over to Kurt in our studio. Take it away, Kurt. Hello, thank you for joining us for this week's La Liga Loca. Joining us this week, we have one of the only people that remains 2-0 up to this point, Mr. Leo. Leo, how are you?
Good, Commissioner. How you doing?
Great. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh. Now, Leo, I think we're just going to start off again as one of the only 2-0 people in the league. How does that feel?
Pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, did I expect to make it this, to have it so good this far? No. But, cool.
He's made it. Now, Leo, I think we're just going to jump right into the meat and potatoes here as one of the undisputed experts in this league. Again, one of 3
Obviously.
people that remain undefeated. Leo, looking towards next week, what do you see?
It's actually going to be really interesting. So, just going down the line, we have here Armando. I think he's going to mop the floor with David.
Now, which David is that?
Greater David. Yeah. The distinction has to be made, and it has to be made clear. You have Greater David and Lesser David. It's off by a country mile. But yeah, I think Mondo's gonna take it. He's projected about 14, 15 points over, something like that.
Sounds like a clean win.
That one's gonna be fun. If the tides flip, it's gonna suck. But then again, embrace the suck. Now, Lesser David versus the Alphas. I think the Alphas are gonna take it. Somebody's gotta root for the underdog though. And it ain't gonna be me.
Yeah, I mean, who would ever root
right?
for
I mean,
David,
Lester
frankly.
David, it's in the name. But moving on, we have the Hard Knock Life versus Kings Nation. That one's projected pretty close. Not gonna lie, George scared me this week because we ended within, I think it was a 3-point margin, which is damn, because I was projected at a 15, 17 point offset or something. So yeah,
He does that. He does that. I speak from experience. That's what George
This is
does.
going to be my underdog. I'm going George on this one. Why? Because Reinhardt, Joshua, I'm going to stick with the running joke. Moving on, Benton's best team versus Mix's matchless
The
team.
closest projected match of the
Right?
week.
It's actually within, half a point?
About half a point.
Yeah. This one's going to be interesting because... Is it McDavid or McKinnon? I don't know my players. McDavid. McDavid's been off to a bit of a slow start this season.
Quite a slow
Yeah.
start.
Why he popped off all of last season. So come on, McDavid, do better.
So who's taking that match, Leo?
Ooh, this one's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna go mix.
You heard it here.
Why? Just because Ben doesn't need another ring.
Bold prediction. Bold prediction. You are predicting the reigning champion to go down 1-2. You heard it here on the Liga Loca. Now, how about the next one here? We have the Cracker Cruncher, your dear brother, and Willie and the boys. Now, Leo, this one's projected to be a landslide, but it is important to note that Jason currently has 2 players not in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's missing what, left wingers?
2 left wings.
Yeah, 2 left wingers. So, I mean, that easily makes up the 30-point spread. But you turned down my trade, bro. What's that about? Moving on. Moy's been doing pretty well. So, if Jason doesn't fix his current situation, it's pretty uncontested.
So who's leaving that one with the W?
The good old Cracker Crunch.
Now the last match of the week, Leo, is between you and me. What do you see there?
Any chance you could drop some of your players, just bench them?
I don't think I need to. My team chronically underperforms.
Okay. But still, I'm projected 12 under, and I'm down 3 games compared to you. Honestly, that was gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That was gonna be fun.
And who's pulling it off?
You know what? The Aurelian Empire's gotta go on.
It's 3-0 for the brothers here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Leo, it's been a pleasure. Thank you
Cool.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great
last
predictions.
minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of course. Yes,
Yeah.
it should be noted. Our first choice was Jason. He turned us down. Our second choice was George. Didn't work. But I guess thank you.
I am proud to have been thought of.
Late, but yes.
Something about it's the thought that counts.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Thanks, Kurt. You like that?
Yeah.
Joshua, I want to start with your match.
Okay.
Okay, because you were the one, people looked at you and they clowned you pretty hard.
They did. That is the thing they did.
They said, here's a guy, what a horrible draft he had. He was already down 3 different picks and then horrible first round pick, right? Horrible third round pick,
Okay.
right? Horrible 5th round pick.
Okay, I think I get the idea.
Horrible 6th round pick.
Does this keep going?
I could go on.
Okay.
Right? Horrible 7th round pick.
And it goes on.
Okay, but then here we are. Okay, 2 weeks have gone by, and you are able to sit here proudly, right, and just full chest exclaim, "I'm Joshua, and I am undefeated."
Undefeated. I love those words. At the very beginning of this, I did predict that I would be losing my first 2 weeks and then building up from there. But so far,
And now there's nowhere to go but down.
I disagree. I think I can keep going higher.
Okay.
Like you said, I'm undefeated. I'm 2-0. And, the one thing that everyone clowned for me the most was drafting Reinhardt first. And can you tell me, actually, do you know what rank Reinhardt is at the moment?
Samuel J. Reinhardt
Yep.
currently sits, drafted, mind you,
Uh-huh.
9th overall? I believe
Yes.
9th overall.
Yes.
Currently sitting rank number 1
Rank number 1.
in our fantasy league.
I essentially drafted the rank 1. That is what I did.
And you know what? You did it with people mocking you the whole way.
Yep, I really did. I really did.
So Joshua, what happened this week? You played Cheo.
Mhm.
You won by a convincing margin. What
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
throughout the week?
So this week's matchup wasn't that different from last week's matchup. I was still projected, pretty significantly under. With Jason, it was under 40 points. With Cheo, it was 10 points. So, not as bad, but I did not expect to come out with a win this week at all, honestly. Cheo had been doing really good. Sometime midweek, things definitely started to get closer. I had Reinhardt, who obviously closed that gap, made a ton of points for me. At the end of the week, he went 28.8 points for me. And, the 2 guys I was super insecure about drafting, the 2 Kings players, I got Kemp and I got Fiala. These guys really pulled through for me too. Kemp getting me 18.4 and Fiala getting me 20 points.
Poof!
They were the last 2 games I had this week. I had already won last night. Last night was Cheo's last game, but today I just got to have extra points.
Just got to rub the salt in the wound, huh?
Yeah, I heard he jumped out of a plane today too. Unrelated.
No.
Unrelated.
So he says.
So he says.
Wow. Well done. Well, let's go ahead here. We'll go over the rest of the matches here. Now, this week, Willie and the boys have gone to an astonishing 0-2. And Joshua, they have a name for someone who starts their season 0-2.
They have?
Yes, it's called Bozo and 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Following, of course, to the lesser David, which, I mean, that's gotta hurt.
It's gotta hurt.
No one likes a loss, but if you're gonna lose, you really do not want to lose to lesser David.
Yeah, it's in the name, lesser already.
I know, so
being
you're like-
beneath the lesser, what are you, lessest?
Lessest. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what they say.
Yep.
Now, here, I like this next matchup.
Oh, who is it?
Joshua, okay. This was between Better David
Ooh, okay.
and Moy.
Oh, yeah, that was a really competitive one, too.
Very tight. Now, do you know what I like about this matchup?
What was your favorite thing?
That Moy continues to suffer 0 consequences for dropping his 3rd round pick.
Yeah, he does. We all, it wasn't, I think, super stated in the last interview, but all of us were feeling a little bit upset about that drop, We're all feeling a little bit upset. We all did try to put in, a little submission for him.
Well, I do want to correct you because that interview was actually the greatest interview that's ever happened.
Okay.
It was the greatest interview of all time. That's what people are saying.
Yes.
Okay.
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 All right. My bad. The greatest interview of all time. We all did try to sneak in that little submission there, but like we've seen, no real consequences for the man. So maybe Moy really did know something we didn't.
He was on to something.
Yeah.
He was on to something. All right, now tell me, Joshua. We had now this match. I have to say it was a heartbreaker, especially for one of our dear friends that is on our crew behind the scenes on this show. Just a heartbreaking match between Armando, manager of Embrace the Suck, and Mix's Matchless team.
Oh man, that one was crazy to watch too.
Walk us through it, Joshua. What happened?
So it's honestly a pretty similar thing that what I did with Cheo. We would seem to have a pretty clear winner right off the bat. Things were pretty close, but it looked like things were in favor of one person. In this case, we're talking about Armando, manager of Embrace the Suck. He seemed to be in a pretty good position. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mix comes and he flips that projection. He flips the score and ends up taking the week.
Right at the last minute, too.
Right at the last minute, pretty crazy. I'm trying to remember who said was going to win, who predicted.
Now, I remember that clearly. I specifically said, I'm giving it to Mix because there's no way Austin Matthews is called 2 weeks in a row. And if Armando can have bad luck, he will. And what happened?
He had that bad luck.
He had bad luck, and Austin Matthews went off.
I know. 16 points, 16.4.
Now, moving along here, we have the Aurelian Empire. Versus the team that smashed me in week 1, King's Nation.
All right. I do remember that one. Unfortunately, my man George was not able to pull through. He did not secure that win, but he went out fighting for that win. It wasn't too off of a margin. And that, honestly, that's great. I think it's totally fair to lose there. What is going on? Yeah! Oh, we're definitely leaving that in. Alright, so King's Nation, right? Did not lose by that big of a margin. It was pretty tight. Until the very last day, it was pretty tight. That last day, things were definitely in favor of Aurelio. He had McKinnon playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
George had Letang. Letang is a great defenseman, don't get me wrong, but against McKinnon.
No McKinnon. He's no
McKinnon. Yeah, so fortunately for Leo, unfortunately for George, Leo got that win.
Yeah. And then the last match of the week was between the reigning champion of the league, Benton's Best Team, versus yours truly, Commission Possible. And I have to tell you, it was almost exactly as it should have been. Every time Ben and I go against each other, it is a straight race to the bottom.
Yeah, you've mentioned this to me before, and I've been paying more attention to it. I've tried to go look at previous games and see what's going on, but it just seems for no reason in particular, your guys just underperform whenever you two go on against each other.
Yeah, and we represented the 2 lowest scores in the entire week.
Another crazy fact, Ben being our current champion,
fighting lowest in week 2.
And got his first loss this early. It's been a whole new season for Ben, So he got 2 shutouts right off the bat, day 1. And he only had 2 shutouts entire last season.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got his first loss this early into the season. No, honestly though, what I talked about, I think it was definitely going to be a lot tougher for people like Ben, who had to really. I don't think you can call it a lucky break. I think he knew what he was doing. Who had such an easy time last time. Now he's coming into a league who knows more, people with more experience. And now we seem to be having that competition we all really wanted. I don't think it's over for him though. I think he's going to make a big comeback.
I think he rallies.
Oh, definitely.
I think losing to me is probably going to spur him on to greater heights. He's probably,
definitely.
He's probably going to be waking up every morning, hitting the gym. He's going to be wearing the Rocky gloves. He's going to be running up,
with
the steps of
the
Philadelphia City Hall with the champion ring. I think maybe this is going to really inspire him to new heights.
Oh, definitely. I'm excited to see the Ben that comes out of this for sure.
One might call it Better Ben.
Oh, Better Ben.
Better Ben.
Better Ben, yeah. Honestly, you too, though. Right now you're having a slow start, sure, but I'm excited to see what you come up with throughout the season.
Now that's a great transition for us here. Talking about my slow start, we're going to see if that slow start continues next week, Joshua, because next week I'm currently projected to have the highest score of the week, and I think I'm going to be needing that high score because I'm playing against one of the only remaining undefeated teams in the Aurelian Empire.
Yeah.
Now, Joshua, you predicted last week that I would win, and you were right. I need you to predict me to win again this week.
Well, you lost last week.
No, week 2.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Sorry.
So I need you to make another prediction for me to win. Can you do that, Joshua?
Okay. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's going on here. How many games do you have above
Just say the words. Just say the words.
Say the words?
Just say the words. Say, Kurt, you're going to win.
All right, you know what I think? I think it's going to be a very tight matchup, and I think it won't be decided until the very last day, but I think things are in your favor.
Just say, Kurt, you're going to win.
I think things are in your favor.
You heard it here, folks. Big win for Commission Possible. Aurelian Empire taking their first loss. Now, moving along, Joshua. We have a match between the always unlucky Embrace the Suck and Pucker Up Buttercup.
Pucker Up Buttercup.
Who do you think walks away here, Joshua? Now, the projections are quite significantly in Embrace the Suck's favor, about a 13-point projection.
They've got the same amount of games, too. Coming from someone who frequently has very low projections. I think we can't exactly just assign a winner based on those projections alone. We've seen how good Better David is. He's Better David for a reason. He just walked in week 1, casually put up the highest score. So while things are very much projected in Armando's favor, I don't think we can just ride out Better David yet, and I think Better David has the favor in this one, honestly.
You know what? It's one of those things, until Armando can show that he can win, it's just hard to pick him to win.
It really is. It really is. And not because he's a bad manager or anything. It's just he seems to have a long line of unlucky streaks, which is bizarre to watch on its own.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that I'm wrong, and, it would be really cool if Armando does bring in, is that going to be his first win, right?
That would be his first W.
That would be his first win. I don't want him to go 0-3, but, until we find the source of that unluckiness, we'll see. We will have Better David winning.
Now, looking on here, we also have Lesser David versus the Alphas. Now, I have got to tell you, the Alphas are projected to win by almost 20 points. Okay?
Yeah.
But, I think I'm pulling on for Lesser David on this one.
Really?
Lesser David, against all odds, despite all the warts, he has won me over. I have a belief in Lesser David's team.
Yeah, he did score second highest in points this week.
And his managerial prowess is quite impressive.
Very strong. I would say he is a better manager than Cheo.
Whatever you think about Lesser David personally,
Yep.
right? Which, let's not even open that can of worms.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about that, as a fantasy hockey manager, he really is first rate.
He really is. Honestly, very strong. I would say just as strong as Jason.
And worth noting, he's the #1 fan of Livin, the Liga, Loca.
I know. Very happy to have him along. Always watching. He's usually my first watcher. Now, even beating out, bigger fans of the show.
Last week he was so upset because there was already a view on the video when he watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It might have been me. You know, I gotta go in and do those like checkups before everyone else sees the video.
Well, don't take the one thing he has from him. Okay?
All right, I'll give him the chance. I'll let him update me on how the video goes.
All right. You heard it here. Lester David, I'm predicting you to win. It's your week, my friend.
All right.
All right. Now, here's a fun one. The Hard Knock Life
Ooh.
versus Kings Nation.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
Now, to me, this is the story of two teams
Mhm.
that no one took seriously. And yet, one of them destroyed me, removed any kind of self-confidence I had, any kind of self-esteem. It's all gone,
Oh no.
okay?
Oh no.
But then, you have the Hard Knock Life, currently undefeated, number one in the ratings at home, number one in the standings in the league. Joshua, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think you got this.
Oh man.
I think it's all you.
Much like last week, very much appreciate the sentiment. But you know, George is one of the ones that I'm actually worried to go against. You know, I was worried about Cheo, but I think I'm more worried about George.
Oh.
And like I said before, I believe he's the underdog of the league. You know, people were kind of shocked. They were, you know, blown back a bit by his strategy for drafting. But as we've seen, the draft is clearly working, you know. He only lost to the Aurelian Empire because I think the Aurelian Empire just had a slightly stronger team. And he didn't even lose by that big of a margin. So I think I have plenty to worry about from George coming along. I would like to say that I would win. You know, like I said, Reinhardt has been moved up to rank 1. He's been doing great for me. The Kings duo has been awesome for me too. I have my defensemen who I thought, you know, were pretty low rate have actually proven me wrong and done great as well. So I want to say, you know, I got it, but I don't feel like I do, honestly.
I'll say it for you. You got it.
Thank you.
All right, now.
But good luck this week, George. You know, may the best man win. And the other guy, he'll be the best man. I think we're both great.
Oof. Sweet sentiment from Livin La Liga Loca. Now, Josh, we're going to skip ahead here to the Cracker Cruncher and Willie and the Boys, also known as Bozo and Two. Now, I'm going to tell you, Joshua, I just feel like this time next week, we'll be saying Bozo and 3.
You know what? I'm going to go against you on that. I think Jason pulls out a win this time.
Really?
Yep.
And you're basing that on...
How great a manager he is.
He's so great, his team has fallen to 0-2.
No, you know, that has got to end at some point. You know, he is in a pretty tight
Does it?
spot. Yes,
Does
it does. I
Does
believe in Jason. I believe in him. He's in a tight spot right now. He does not have 2 left wings.
You know, I was speaking to Jason earlier today when he rudely rejected the offer for an interview. And I told him, I said, you know, Jason, some people are calling you a has-been. Some people are saying you're washed up. Some people are saying your best days are behind you. Some people, like I said, one commentator even going as far as to call him Bozo and 2. Right? And he had no response for any of that.
Words mean nothing to Jason. It's about action.
His actions have gotten him to 0-2.
Okay. Like, yeah, they have. But let's take a look at the projections right now, okay? Well, two things. The projections and the number of games. So, Cracker Cruncher, Moises, you know, he's projected to go 129.68 with 38 games. Willie and the Boys, Jason, he's projected for 98.78 and 34 games. You know, getting those games to be higher than 38 is not hard for him. He's shown that time and time again. He made it so that it was 40 points.
But Joshua, let me ask you. He had almost 10 games up on you.
More.
Yeah. How did that go for him?
I only won because he got 2 outs. He definitely would have beaten me. I did not stand a chance if he did not get those 2 outs. He would be 1-1 right now. I definitely believe, I with a security, if he gets those 2 left wings, there's no way he loses this week.
All right, you heard it here. A split panel here on Livin La Liga Loca. We will update you next week.
Excited for that one. Honestly, the game I'm looking forward to the most.
Wow. Now, here's the game I'm looking forward to the most, Joshua. And that is between reigning champion Benton's best team and Mix's matchless team.
Oh, man.
2 people that, as of yet, have not learned how to change their team name on the Yahoo Fantasy app.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think Ben is interested in changing his.
You know, Ben maybe doesn't have to. I think that's fair. You know, I mean, he did just lose, so Is he the best team? No. But, you know.
It's a pretty good team, not the best though.
Yeah, well, but his team says Benton's best team.
Yeah.
But anyway, Joshua, I digress. So, they are projected to be the closest match of the week, with Ben currently trailing by only a half point in the projections. Joshua, where do you see this match going?
Man, you know, I talked about how it's going to be more difficult for Ben this season. And I actually did talk about how it will be easier for Mix this season too. You know, like you said, it's going to be another really close one. The projections are definitely showing already, but I think regardless of projections, it's going to be really competitive. This might be another one that's decided on the very last day. I don't know if Ben is going to make too many moves as like compared to this week that just passed. I think he's still going to hold out on his team, but I think we see Mix really coming up. You know, we saw how he had a slow start last week and then flipped those projections,
and
flipped those points, and won the week.
One thing that should not be overlooked: Austin Matthews has 4 games this week.
Yeah, it's going to be
4
huge
games for
huge
Mix's
for
top player to really do some damage.
You know, as much as I like Ben, you know, I do think Mix is going to come out with a victory this week.
You know what? I think I'm going to give Live in the Liga Loca first here.
All right.
I am calling this match too close to call.
Oh.
I refuse to make a prediction on this match. I don't know what's
It
going to
really is too close to call, but in my heart, in my Reinhardt, I'm hoping for Mix to win. I think that would be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, as always, for making us your number 1 choice of news for La Primera Liga Bautista Hispana. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Joshua.
Have a great night.